Hi guys, welcome back to Vedic Astrology. Today I'm going to be doing this video for the transit of Saturn, and in the transit Saturn is getting in the retrograde in motion from July 13th onwards. Now I promised in the monthly reading for the month of July that I will be recording the transit video for Saturn's retrograde because it's a crucial one, and I wanted to share some perspective with you guys as to how it can be impacting us. Now Saturn, of course, is considered to be a malefic, and thereby when a planet which is retrograded, which is considered to have a very high Cheshtabal, a part that is seen in the Shadbala. Many of you who come to my readings, I share the Shadbala scores as well for each of the planets with you guys. And there you would have noticed that it is a component, it's a part. And depending on the Shadbala score of a planet in your chart, you are able to realize that what sort of an impact, positive or negative, auspicious or inauspicious, can be seen in your life. And thereby, in general considerations, Saturn, which is considered to be a malefic, when he gets retrograded, usually because of that Cheshtabal being high, because now the Shadbala overall being higher than normal, the ability of this malefic planet to deliver results is increased. Now, whether or not Saturn's impact in your chart through the transits retrograde will be positive or negative will highly be dependent on the score, on the strength, on the dignity of Saturn in your natal chart. Now, again, I cannot be giving you general indications on that front. Very crudely speaking, somebody might say that an exalted Saturn in most of the charts or in the charts where it is a yoga karaka planet like that for Libra is usually delivering good results. But I have noticed that people with exalted Saturn in Libra or in other zodiacs as well, they tend to struggle with their lives even in their Saturn dashas in Sadesatis. Now, why is that? Because you've got to understand that what is the dignity? Is it direct? Is it retrograde? What is the Shadbala of your planet? How is it positioned? What house, what placement? And based on that, within the particular sign, what kind of points he is getting within Pisces, for example, if he is transiting right now, what sort of points he is getting. And thereby, you will be able to derive a much more comprehensive understanding. However, since it is my fiduciary responsibility to share a generalized perspective which can have an overarching effect, I will be talking during the course of this video to give you a sense that what you should anticipate. But the accurate measure of it will come through if you are able to analyze your natal version as well. I hope, folks, you get a perspective of what I'm trying to say here. And now we should just deep dive to see what sort of a impact you will see with this transit, folks. Now, Libras, Saturn happens to be a Yoga Karaka planet for you. Why? Because he is the lord of your fourth house and your fifth house, and he is getting retrograded in the sixth house for you. Now, if you recollect from the video that I made for Saturn in all houses, as well as Saturn's transit into the sign of Pisces, you would remember that I did mention that Saturn's placement into the sixth house is not a bad one. It's a good placement to be in. Now, your Yoga Karaka planet, meaning for the sign of Libra, and again, if you're watching this from a moon sign perspective, he's your Rashi Lord, or from a ascendant perspective, he gets exalted in your Lagna, in your first house itself. So that planet is getting retrograded in the sixth house, means he is going to get a lot of Cheshta Bal. His Shadbala score from a transit perspective for a child being born at this period would be pretty high. But you have to understand this impact of Saturn based on the dignity, based on the strength of Saturn in your natal chart, as I was alluding to a couple of minutes back in the start of the video. Saturn represents the fourth house, placed in the sixth house, 3 places away from itself, and getting retrograde. One would definitely indicate one thing, that there will be some level of turbulence, lack of peace, disturbance that might come in your mind. Now, that could be both positive and negative. See, negative thing is pretty obvious, where one might understand that there is some unexpected stress, problems, challenges that you are bound to face, given that he is placed in the sixth house of obstacles, loans, litigations, health, etc. as well. So it could be one of the reasons, but the other possibility that also comes into play is that this Saturn is going to make you rethink. He is going to revisit some of your belief system, your knowledge, the information that you have. And it might make you rework, bring some creative thought process as well in terms of how you have approached things in the past. You have to understand that Saturn's retrogression is towards the direction of Aquarius, where Rahu is already positioned. And we have to understand that in astrology, things work in conjunctions, in combinations, in multiple things happening together. The Atichari, the fast paced movement of Jupiter as well, which is happening in your 9,000. At the fag end of this transit, it will be happening into your 10,000, the retrograded motion there too. So when he is position moving towards, or appears to be moving towards Rahu, in the modern era, no point of my being in the modern thought process if I'm not able to connect the dots into astrology as well, guys, that AI is going to become relevant. And this is not just for you, Libras. I'm calling this out for every zodiac. That technology, usage of technology, adoption of technology or AI in the modern era will become extremely crucial, especially in this retrogression period, where you will have to figure out some creative application in your own life, because it is tilting towards fifth application of your mind, application of your knowledge, how you bring that into execution. Many of you could be students watching this video, and you will realize that, say, if you are preparing for any competitive examination from a sixth house perspective, you will have to revisit things. You will have to repurpose yourself, either acquire more knowledge. In the modern times, yes, for the preparation of a competition, leveraging through AI, people are using agents to actually train themselves for interviews, for selection, asking the AI to prompt difficult, challenging questions and then see, rate me, how and where am I performing. So, guys, if you are a student watching this video, you might have to think in those lens as well and figure out that how you can attune yourself, pivot in the modern times to address that competitive spirit which is required, where this retrograded Saturn is very powerful. So it is a good thing in that sense too, that a malefic planet, but your Yoga Karaka planet, is becoming retrograded. He will have an increased strength, he will have an increased effort within him. And thereby, in retrogression, somewhere that impact of tech layer, of AI, of the hidden, the unknown, the research bit is going to come into play. And you must apply that for your leverage. You must apply that for your differentiation. He's the fourth lord. So you'll have to change. You will have to understand how you are going to acquire that knowledge. This could also mean that many of you might have to work towards some kind of accumulation, some kind of an activity, some kind of growth for your home, for your assets, for your movable, immovable property. Some sort of a shift will come for you guys in that particular area too. And you will be interested to figure out that should you invest more, should you take certain loans to accomplish that particular project of yours. That decision has to be panning out within this retrogression period. He's your fifth lord as well, retrograded into the sixth. Where from a romance perspective, people who are single or in relationship, you will realize that this same Saturn is going to bring certain opportunities your way. However, it would also weigh you, test you, that are you ready to get into such kind of commitments? Are you ready to be submissive in the way it has to be dealt? Because see, it's not that he's the fifth lord, so the thought process of fourth will be missing, or his retrograded impact within the sixth will be missing. It will all work together for you. So it could be in the form of a test as well. Your loved one, your partner, or whomsoever in the relationship that you are interested in, that could get tested. But for a student perspective, it can be a good opportunity to revise your concepts, to train, remodel yourself better. This will be a period where you will have to look back as to the way you were strategizing your investments. Is it in the right track or not? You might have to reshuffle, repivot your portfolio. You might have to, swing from stock to stock plus gold plus Bitcoin plus whatsoever is happening in the market today. So that sort of a shift, that sort of a analysis, thinking, see, whatever I'm talking about, I'm connecting it to the creativity, I'm connecting it to the thinking ability that you will have to bring to the table. And not just thinking outside the box, leveraging tools around it, leveraging technology around it, doing something differentiated that makes you stand apart. So it will reflect in your education, it will reflect in your relationships, it will reflect in terms of your investments. You will see that there will be a potential for you to grow, for you to multiply from a property and assets perspective. And why all this is translating? Because this is going to be, driven with the aspects of Saturn, which he is casting into your 8th house, 12th house, and your 3rd house. Now we'll talk about the first aspect of Saturn, which is coming into the 8th house. It's a retrograded aspect. And this is the aspect that can bring certain degrees of challenges, third party situations, unnecessary complications in your relationships. It could, it might as well be a test in a way for from Saturn to see that Libra, are you actually walking the right path or not? The greatest fear in the modern times in me is instilled of Saturn, that everything appears to be that whether or not we are moving in the right way, we are doing the right things or not. And we are all humans. We might deviate, but we have to still course correct and figure out the right path ahead. And that's exactly, Libras, you will also encounter through this aspect. But it will also be an opportunity for you to learn new things, to reskill yourself, to reskill into areas that you had not charted before. Now, not necessarily in a religious or spiritual way. Yes, that is definitely one possibility that will come into the picture. But it can also mean that from your relationships perspective, you might want to learn something about the people that you are in connection with, the partners, your marital partner or your business partners, and introspect if whatever approach, whatever mechanism that you've been using to deal with them, has that been the right approach? Or you need to do a shift, you need to pivot back and see that what can be done differently. And there will be a resulting transformation in your relationships too. There will be an opportunity for learn to grow, forge new friendships, revisit old friendships, old relationships, and mend them too. That sort of a impact is going to come into play. Why? Because this third aspect is coming into the sign of Venus. Real relationships, dealing with them, consolidating them is going to be a key there. Then this Saturn is giving a retrograded aspect into your 12th as well. There have been situations where you've been pushing yourself too far, you've been tackling difficult scenarios, unexpected challenges coming your way, unexpected expenses coming your way as well. And this is where you might find some relief, especially if you have some sort of a foreign connection, if you've had any plans on embarking on any kind of foreign journeys, if you've been thinking of tackling your problems creatively, which is what I was alluding to 5 minutes back, you will realize that this is now going to reward you with some gains too. I anticipate that gain bit will come more closely in the second half, in the last leg of this retrogression, somewhere in October, November period, because you will realize that there will be a retrograded Jupiter also sitting in the 10th house in exaltation. So that period can be very rewarding. It would be like the two planets are almost trying to each other. I use the word almost because the degrees are also going to vary, but yes, more or less they will be trying to each other. And that will be a period, you guys, Libras, you will realize that whatever effort, whatever transformation that you've been through, whatever efforts you've made in terms of mending your relationships, revisiting your efforts, your knowledge, your education, your connections, they will now begin to reward you as well. There is a possibility that you might tap into your older networks. You might tap into your older friends that you've not spoken for a long while, but you might have a just reconnect or impromptu meeting with some friends, and you seek some help, you seek some guidance, and they support you. They give you an opportunity to collaborate with you, and that is how this Saturn is going to reward you as well. In retrogression, one thing is for sure, Libras, you will be able to overcome your obstacles for sure. He is your Yoga Karaka planet at the end of the day. He gets exalted in your first. So he will definitely give you the possibility that irrespective how humongous, how difficult, how challenging these obstacles are, from a health perspective, from a financial perspective, from an unexpected challenges, competition, whatever you might want to say. If you're in a business, your business competition. If you're a student, competition from a competitive exam perspective. If you are in a job, your colleagues, your peers who are eyeing for the same spot or for the same outcome, you will realize that the challenges, those obstacles will be big, but you will have the ability to overcome them too. That is the strength of Saturn in retrogression in the sixth house. That's a powerful placement to be in. And then he also gives that aspect into your third house. That retrograded aspect to the third house is a word of caution from my side. Because this is where you will realize that both your formal and your informal communication could actually be painful. It could be less delightful for many of the people, whether in a formal setup, in an official setup, in a formal setting, or with your family members. You will have to be extremely wise with your choice of words, because Saturn is going to make you stern, it is going to make you straightforward, and it is going to bring a lot of direct feedback from you. And this feedback that you bring to the table with people around, say the quality of work they're doing or the kind of support you're getting from your family members, it could be so sharp, cutting like a knife, that it might create a difference, a sense of distance between you and the people that you are interacting with. So I would warn you, both from a personal as well as a professional communication standpoint, please be watchful. This is also going to be crucial for your siblings. They could face certain challenges, obstacles at this point in time. They might require some support from you, especially a physical support, more than monetary. You might have to put some ideas as to how you could solve their problem. Like when I say physical, it is both emotional at an emotional level as well as from putting a physical efforts perspective, that they might require you to step up and guide them there. This is also going to be a period where you will realize that your creative pursuits might have very traditional roots. You might derive modern ideas for something very simple, very common from a long time before. And you might just want to repivot. So I'm not talking about, see, Saturn's transformation is always incremental. It is not, it's an incremental change, not a transformational change. Yes, from a eighth house perspective, it will still be transformational with respect to relationships or with respect to learnings. But in a physical world, when you are trying to materialize certain output, either with respect to your karma, with respect to your dharma, you make incremental shifts. So say supporting your siblings, you might have to make an incremental shift. Making a change in how you are communicating, you'll have to make an incremental shift. Day after day, you will see an improvement. It's not that you will wake up with transformation. But this Saturn, whilst it is bringing some levels of tests for you, it is also enabling you with supreme power to flourish, to accomplish well in those tests. I want to revisit one last point from a learnings perspective, guys. This is going to be a brilliant period for you to learn something that can last for you for a long time. Many of you, since Saturn has moved into Pisces, could have made new plans, could have thought of taking certain actions around your job, around your career, profession, your day to day charter. You might have put a new plan that, this is how you are going to follow a regimen on a day to day basis, but you could have failed. Learn something different and try and adopt that into your day to day life. You will see no other remedy is needed, because when I released the videos yesterday, people were asking me that day, what is the remedy? Guys, God has given us everything. When you are coming to this channel, I want to spread an abundance mindset. Please lose that scarcity mindset that I don't have this thing and that's why this wrong is happening. No, you've been blessed in your chart with everything that is required. Shiva has given everything to you. All you have to do is learn to figure out that what is expected out of you in what time duration. So this retrogression is asking you to reskill yourself, to learn yourself, to immerse yourself into that like a crazy head. And then see that how you are learning, how your new set of knowledge is changing your relationships, it's changing your career and profession, it is impacting your growth, it is bringing old friends back in your life, it is doing well for your relatives. transforms the way, it changes the way you are communicating and expressing your ideas as well. So, all in all, Libras, the way I see this retrogression, yes, there will be some complications. You will figure out the gravitas of that complication based on your natal Saturn's divinity. But it's an excellent opportunity given he is your Yoga Karaka planet. He is getting full strength. He will test you. You pass those tests and you will come out with flying colors given that you put the effort that is required. I hope you have enjoyed watching this video. If you have, then please smash on that like button, subscribe to Dave Astrology, and keep watching.